I just found a way to make soul samples without those big soul vocals, and it's actually insane. Most producers think you need real vocalists or expensive acapellas to get that classic soul feel, but I found a way you can make soul samples without these big vocals. And this video I'm going to show you exactly how you can make them as well. Let's get right into it. So the first thing you need to do is to make the sample in between the 120 and 140 range, because if you want to get that J. Cole, Kanye West, Chipmunk effect afterwards, you gotta speed it up and pitch it up in the end. So after we got the BPM down, we first need a solid groove. So I started with a simple drum break to give the sample some bounce. Then I layered a chord progression on top of it. Well, this chord progression might look complicated, but in general it's just a series of simple triad chords playing in a stacked way that it sounds soulful and vibey. But a chord progression alone won't cut it, so I added a simple but very important top melody to it that gives the sample some movement. Now that the piano is in place, the rest of the sample is all about layering and adding texture. So I brought in a vintage organ playing the same chords as the piano, but way simpler and with these organ ones to give that warmth, soulful feel. Now, here's where things get interesting. The key to real soul samples are these vocals. Usually, you would want to work with real singers, but let's be honest, that's expensive and not an option for many of us. So I found this VST called East West and it's a game changer. The Banks, Voice of Soul and Hollywood backup singers let you create realistic soul vocals that blend perfectly into a sample. So I just copied the chords from our piano before and pasted it into the preset of Voices of Soul. Now we got that classic gospel inspired soul texture without needing a single acapella. I know that these vocals are way in the back, but this is important for these kind of samples. You may take the vocal and put it more in the background as a more textured based vocal. And now I just added a simple vocal phrase also from Voices of Soul just to complement the sample a bit more. Now, to make the sample feel fuller, I needed some strings. In classic soul records, you hear those big orchestral strings in the background, and sometimes a violin carrying a soft melody. So for this, I layered my chord progression from the piano into the BBC Symphony Orchestra plugin, which is free by the way, then used contact session strings for a violin top line, to add more emotional depth. At this point, the sample is really starting to come together. But no soul sample is complete without the electric bass. The Scarby Rickenbacker bass in Contact is my go-to bass for this. It adds that classic bass character that ties everything together. And for some extra ear candy, I sprinkled in a little bell sound for some sections of the sample, followed by some staccato strings for some texture. Just something small to keep it interesting. If you like this sample, I got a whole pack of soul samples with real vocalists in my latest loop kit, Soul Records Volume 3. Whenever you are making beats for Drake, J. Cole or Kanye West, this kit has everything you need. You get the original samples but also the high-pitched versions for some Rick Ross, Kanye West vibes, ready to just put your drums on it and start cooking. And because you're watching this video, you get 30% off of the kit if you use the code SOUL30. The link is in the description down below. So now the last but crucial step of this kind of samples is to export the sample as it is, speed it up and pitch it off to get some different vibes. And that's how you create those insane soulful samples without those big expensive vocals. Before I show you the final sample with some drums on it, make sure to smash that like button if you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos, and comment down below what type of samples you want to see next. Check out my loop kit and I'll see each other in the next one.